So today I'd like to walk you through the process of making some ceramic jewelry, which has been really fun for me lately. And yeah, as you saw in the intro bit there's been three main things that I've been making. So one is these little pendants. So they're just like a ceramic bead. This is like a mid-fire porcelain, and then a little flower motif. Then I've also been making earrings, which are kind of dangly earrings that have a flower pendant on it. And then the last thing is I've been making these floral signet rings, which have a very similar flower motif to the necklace. So yeah, I'll just get right into it and I'll walk you through the process of how this is done. So I have the video of me doing it down here, so I'm gonna be kind of coming in and out, but yeah, I'll just be kind of giving the video a voiceover as I watch it. So let's go. So yeah, the first thing I do is I just get basically a slab of clay. So I just use a wire cutter to do this. I get this clay from Seattle Pottery Supply. It's called CKK6. So yeah, I just use a wire cutter to basically cut myself a thin slab of this. And then for the beads, I kind of just want to roll it out so that it's a uniform length. It's probably about ½ an inch thick. And then from that slab, I'll first make cuts lengthwise, and then I will make perpendicular cuts widthwise. So you get kind of these cubes. I don't measure anything. Yeah, I just kind of eyeball it. I don't mind if the beads are all a little bit of a different size. At this point, my neighbor's cat visited me, so this is him just saying hello. Hi. Then next, for the signet rings, I'll just roll out a coil that's very thin. It's probably about 1/3 of a centimeter thick. So yeah, I use these very thin pieces, and then I just take the two ends and then press them together, which bonds the clay, but also creates kind of the flat part of the signet ring, which I'll paint the flower motif on later. Bit of smoothing with my finger here as well, just so that the seam isn't as visible. And then lastly, for the earrings, I'll roll out a bit of clay, quite thin, so probably again about 1/3 of a centimeter thick. And then I created these little flower guides out of cardstock. I just drew them on cardstock and then cut them out so that it would be, I can make a lot of the same shape, and then I just use an X-Acto knife to cut those. So when the clay gets to leather hard texture, so this is when it's dried probably for a couple hours, I'll use a drill bit to create the hole for the bead. So this is the hole where the pendant, where the string will actually go through. Then I do the same thing for the flowers, and I'll show you later how I create the earrings, but just, yeah, I use the drill bit to create a hole at the top of the flower. Then once the clay has dried a bit more, I'll go in with a sponge and I'll just try to smooth all of the edges of the bead so that the bead feels nice and smooth in the hand and doesn't have any jagged edges. And I'll do the same thing for the signet rings. You just need to be kind of careful when you do this because this is just dried clay, so they have a tendency to snap. But yeah, I just try to be as careful as I can, and if they do end up snapping, it's no big deal. I'll just throw them in reclaim. just do the same thing for the little flowers. Yeah, just use a sponge to smooth them out with these. I try to be as careful as possible to not lose the detail, and the kind of acute angle where the two petals meet. I'll just use a flat paintbrush to get into those kind of detailed sections where the sponge is a little bit too thick to get into. So this is how the beads and the rings look after they come out of the kiln. And this is how the flowers look as well. And for painting on the motifs, I just use a paint on glaze called Stroke and Coat. So for painting the beads, I use a very, very thin paintbrush, and I just, you know, sit in front of the TV or something and bang out a ton of these at once. But yeah, it's very, very therapeutic to sit and paint these tiny flowers. And then for the signet rings, I use an even smaller paintbrush, and I basically just repeat the same process. And then for the floral earrings, I use a little bit of a different motif, but it's basically the same thing. Just get out the Stroke and Coat, and yeah, I'll just paint, you know, in this case I did blue, yellow, and red flowers, so I just kind of painted them to look as similar as possible since they'll come in sets. So this is how all of the flower earrings looked once they were painted. So after I take them to get glaze fired, this is how they looked coming out of the kiln. So they have these lovely shiny colorful flowers, and then here is how the earrings looked. I thought that they came out really, really pretty, and I was super excited to make them into jewelry. Yeah, and I loved how these signet rings turned out. And the guy who works at the studio actually wanted one as a gift, so yeah, I just gave him one because, yeah, what am I gonna do with so many of them? So I use these 14 karat gold plated pinch bail earring hooks. So I just did this for all of them, and then this is what the red ones looked like when they were done. And then for the pendants, I have several different colors of this faux suede string. So for the red flower, I use a red string. For the blue flower, I use a blue string. For the orange flower, I use an orange string. And yeah, I just like to just tie the end into a bow instead of putting any kind of clasp, because then you can kind of adjust the for different lengths depending on different necklines of outfits and things like this. Yeah, so that's it for the making process, and now I will show you how they looked in all of their glory as I modeled them in my patio. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.